All right, hello, Programming 12. We have bullets and we have mobs, but they don't seem to interact with each other in any way, so we're going to change it so that the bullets hit the mobs, which is sort of the whole point of the tower defense game. Yeah, shoot the mobs, they don't get to your the opposite side, and then life is good. Okay, so let's make that happen. I think the first thing that we're going to do is just do a little bit of improvement in our bullet class and our mob class. When we're going to be detecting the collision, we need to think about the size of the separate objects. And right now, we've just hard-coded these things in kind of a meh way. It's just like 15 is over here, and mob is 40, and we haven't really planned that out, or there's no way for us to sort of change that or modify it. Or in the future sort of create new mobs with new sizes, which is a pretty standard thing to do. So I think what we could do is we could make that into a variable. So I'm going to add in a new variable to my mob and to my bullet, and I'm going to call that radius, I suppose, or yeah, I guess it's a diameter. Hey, a circle here is given a diameter. So I'm gonna have to change that up. So we're gonna call it a diameter. So I'm gonna include a D here as well. Stands for diameter. I'm gonna do that for mob. And I'm gonna, maybe I'll work from bullet first. I'm just gonna set the D to be like default. I guess it's 15 for the bullet. And I'm gonna replace this with D here. So in the constructor, I'm just gonna say, yo, your bullet, you're gonna be 15. I guess I should put a semicolon there as well. Okay, same with mob. I'm going to say, hey, mob, you're going to be size 40. And then I will change that down here. Okay, so the goal here now is that the purpose of this was, instead of just having these numbers kind of floating around, now my mob knows its size. In the future, we could adjust the size for multiple kinds of mobs. We could build into the constructor. Same with bullets. We can make big bullets and small bullets by creating another constructor and changing that value. Also, they know their own size, so we can build our collision code as our next thing. So let's do it. Let's have mobs detect bullets now. We already have code like this. We actually have our loop that's going to go through the nodes array, and it's taking a look at every single node and seeing if it's colliding. This if statement is a kind of collision. We're kind of doing it in a meh kind of way. It's just like, is it really, really close? Was it within 4 pixels? It's not meh. I guess it's just a very specific number. And I think that might change as our mob speed up. We might have to put that as a speed or something. But anyways, I'm going to add in a similar loop. It's not going to be much different. The only thing is that my bullets are in a list as opposed to an array. It's an array list, but don't get the two confused. So it'll be similar mechanics. I'll say I equals 0. I'm not going to say int I because I already declared the variable here, so I'll just reuse it. I equals 0. And I'll say, well, I is less than bullets dot size. So you can see we got length for arrays, size for array lists. And then I can check to see, I guess I can't just do this. This is nice syntax. I really like that syntax. But we have to use the .get method. So let's get a temporary bullet. Let's say bullet, my bullet equals bullets dot get I. So when I is 0, we'll get bullet 0. When I is 1, we'll get bullet 1, and so on. And each time, we'll just give it the nickname my bullet. And we can ask a question about my bullet. We can say if the distance between like this x and y and the bullets x and y is less than the sum of their radii, then we're colliding. We did this in Programming 11 quite a bit. We kind of worked hard to master that concept. You can definitely, maybe I'll post a link to the videos if you didn't take Programming 11 with me to understand the math behind how do you know if two circles are colliding. But I'll just put it in here for now. So if the distance between the bullets, my bullet I should say, it's x and y coordinates, and the mob's x and y coordinates is less than. Now this is the sum of the radii, so it's going to be d divided by 2 plus my bullet dot d divided by 2. So if that's true, I guess we have hit. We have collided. Let's see. What are we missing here? Is this if statement? Missing operator. I guess I don't see it here. I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna come back and we'll see if I find it. Hey, I found it. I'm missing a comma. Oh, ta-da! Silly mistake. So anyways, if we so if our distance between our mob and our bullet is less than the sum of the radii of those two objects, that's why it's diameter divided by 2, then we have a collision. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have to terminate our mob's life. It needs to die. Now, how are we going to do that? There's no lives variable, so we should probably put that in. I'm going to put in, maybe as an int, HP will be hit points. I imagine mobs might have more HP in the future, so I'm going to put in, maybe I'll make it a float, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure. Could have float? Could you have 1.5 hit points? Not really too standard, is that? Now, I guess I'll make it an int. And I'll just set that to default to be 1 hit point when we run the game. And so then I need to say HP equals HP minus 1 when I get shot by a bullet. So that seems like a way to kill it. Now, the computer doesn't know when HP gets to 0 for it to be removed from the list. So we'll also have to update our animate things. And I also want to make the bullet go away. But maybe we'll just do this part first. So we'll go ahead and go to our play. And then in our mobs acting, after we act in show, we should probably check to see if it's dead. And if it does, we should remove it. And otherwise, we'll just move on to the next one. So how do we know if it's dead? Well, we could check to see if the mymob.hp is, we'll say less than or equal to 0, just in case it gets hit by multiple bullets and goes below 0 for some reason. So if it's less than or equal to 0, then we want to remove. So we can say mobs.remove I, else I++. And we want to put the I++ in the else, because when an array list shrinks, it also renumbers it. So if we were removing element 5, for example, and that goes away, then it renumbers all the next elements down the list. So the next one, which was 6, now becomes 5. So if we I++ in addition, then we would move on to 6 and we would skip 5, which was the old 6. So that's why we do the I++ in a separate if else. So if we don't remove something, we move on to the next one. Otherwise, we just stay. And then the next one kind of came to us, so to speak. All right, we'll see if it works. All right, we'll start. So I'll send out a wave. Oh, we crashed. So what went wrong? Well, let's go back and see. Let's go back to our mob. Oh, look at that. What tragic thing did we forget to do? Well, in this case, we do need to go to the next mob, or the next bullet, right? So I'm going to have an I++ here as well to move on to the next one. I think that'll cover it. Let's see. All right. So we'll make a mob come out. Oh yeah, it's too hard. Oh, I can't get the mobs to survive long enough. Yeah, because the bullet is just so strong. It just goes through all of them. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just going to kill every single mob. Okay, so that's going to be your job. I'm going to let you now modify this code so that in addition, we get rid of the bullet as well. So that's going to require a few things. You are going to have to add some code in here to get rid of the bullet. But first of all, bullets are going to need to have hit points. So consider what you're going to change inside of the bullet class. To give it hit points, probably requires some sort of constructor and instance variable changes. And then also, that means once that's ready to go, we can change the bullet's hit points from this loop. And then last but not least, if we're going to get a bullet going to 0 hit points, we should be able to remove it. So somewhere in our animate things for our bullets, we should be able to handle the fact that a bullet has gone to 0 HP and remove it from the game. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's a good place to stop our video. So thanks everybody for following along, and I hope everything's making sense. And of course, if it's not, just come on over and ask me a question. All right, thanks everybody.